When Max Lonsdale was released by Macclesfield Town as a youngster in 2011, he did quite the opposite of rest on his laurels. He went live and direct to the greatest manager in English football history, Sir Alex Ferguson, and asked for a trial. Lonsdale had lived in Spain and played in the Malaga youth ranks until he moved back to England when he was 13 and joined Macclesfield at the same age. He turned out in the Silkman's Academy until the age of 18, doing a bit scholarship with the club and playing in competitions such as the FA Youth Cup. He left the financial-stricken club, with Lonsdale, a technically sound midfield player, saying Macclesfield had more interest in big centre-backs and target men despite him winning the Player of the Season in his second year in the youth team. But instead of waiting for an opportunity to arrive, Lonsdale used his initiative. He spent a couple of weeks putting together a DVD of 4 Macclesfield youth games that had been filmed, with every touch captured in the footage. Aware that Manchester United had been keeping tabs and a big believer that he was equipped for a higher standard of football, he decided to cut out all the middlemen and go straight to Sir Alex. Recalling the story of how he came to knock on Fergie's door, he told {PRO: I lived in Alderley Edge at the time and Ferguson lived in Wilmslow, which is like 2 minutes away. I had a good friend who lived near him and knew which one his house was. I just thought, why try and send a DVD to the club when it's going to get nowhere near? Why not just rock up myself and know he'd watch it? It's probably out of character for me, I'm not the most bold person, but when it comes down to it, I'm willing to do that, especially when it's your dream, I suppose. I went down on the Friday, and his wife was actually there, and she let me in. Fergie wasn't actually, and he was away for the next day on a golfing trip, so she said, "Here's his number, give him a ring tomorrow. He should be back around tea time." The next day I rang him and explained I'd been around yesterday. The first thing he said was, "How the fuck have you got my number?" Obviously I was a bit taken aback by that, but after I explained it, he was alright after that and said, "Yeah, come round." I drove around to his and had a good chat. He spoke to me about my football past, my injuries, and said he'd watch the DVD and get back to me. 3 days later I got a call off one of the United first team coaches to say they liked what I'd seen and asked would I be willing to go down for a trial. Lonsdale had gone above and beyond to seek his opportunity, doing something that no one had ever done before. I think Sir Alex probably liked the boldness of it, and he said to me at the time, "If you don't look good enough, we're not going to take you on, but I'll let you know either way," he added. He said, "When I came into training the first day, I've given you an opportunity because I like what I've seen." He genuinely wanted to give me an opportunity, which was really good on his part. He's very intimidating when you're speaking directly to him, but a big presence and a lovely guy at the same time. Lonsdale had an initial 2-week trial that was then extended to the point he was there for 6 weeks, featuring in 5 reserve games and plying his trade with future United first-teamers Paul Pogba and Jesse Lingard, as well as Ravel Morrison, the promising prodigy who he says was head and shoulders above everyone but didn't have the mentality required. He thought everything pointed towards him getting that all-important contract, but the presence Matty James, Oliver Norwood and Danny Drinkwater in his position prevented that from happening. It was just an unbelievable experience. I went around the UK playing in all different stadiums, and to be honest I thought I was going to get signed. That was the indication I got from the staff. I'd been waiting a few lads to leave on loan or on permanent deals. Matty James, Oliver Norwood and Danny Drinkwater were meant to be leaving. At the time I was only 18 and wasn't ready to play first-team football, but what they couldn't do was draft another lad in to just play reserve football for the next 2 years until he makes it or not. In the end they didn't have the space to offer me a full-time contract, which was obviously devastating, but they asked Doncaster to sign me up, so I went to play for them. All the lads at United were great, and I loved every second of it. I was driving a Fiesta at the time and pulling up to training next to the young lads driving Range Rovers, and I think to take that all in was quite difficult, but there were no big timers. Everyone shook my hand and got on with me. It was a great experience. Lonsdale impressed at Doncaster and was on the verge of signing before a horrific injury left him on the sidelines for a lengthy spell. A change of manager meant he wasn't fancied, while he was never the same after tearing his ligaments, deciding to pack in football completely at the age of just 21. I was literally about to sign with Doncaster, and during a game against Burton I tore the ligaments in my ankle and snapped it. I did all my rehab at Doncaster for the next 6 to 12 months, and then Sean O'Driscoll, who was the gaffer at the time, ended up getting sacked. I think it was Paul Dickov came in, and I couldn't continue my rehab after that. He'd never seen me play, wasn't bothered, and had his own plans. That was it. After that I was never really right, my ankle was just knackered. I tried playing a bit of non-league football, but I pretty much knocked football on the head after that. I had opportunities with Ipswich and Burnley, and as they were materializing I just get injured in games and I just got a bit mentally drained. Though his dream died, Lonsdale was eager to forge a career in something else, and his interest in marketing and social media sparked it all. Having met a business partner and pitched for investment, he is now the operations director of a social agency based in Wilmslow, Cheshire. The 25-year-old's alternative path has worked out brilliantly, but he does feel more needs to be done for young players on these shores who don't make the grade, and says adopting the United States model is worthwhile. I think more needs to be done because lads are being taken out of school at a young age and not really given a proper education. Now unit and education is such a big part of getting jobs, and to be honest I don't think that's the way it should be, but it's the way the world is at the moment. Football just takes you away from all of that and leaves you with no real options if football doesn't work out, even at levels like Macclesfield Town, for example, who were in League 2 at the time. You're getting a BTEC out of it, but a BTEC's not really a level or degree standard education, so I definitely think more needs to be done, maybe adopting the American style of scholarships.